Hello, New Wave of British Heavy Metal.com here, and today, oh yes, the mighty Diamond Head and their new live album, Live and Electric, which is them on the UK tour back in 2022 that they did supporting Saxon in a, well, your classic New Wave of British Heavy Metal double act, isn't it, really? I'll tell you a little bit about it next, but first, if I could ask you first, if you wouldn't mind please subscribing to the channel, because that would be marvellous. There are hundreds of videos all over it, so please do subscribe if you wouldn't mind. Anyway, back to Live and Electric. We've got riff master Brian Tatler and the band rip it up big time over a dozen song career spanning set, which is nicely balanced between the stuff that they really have to play, you can probably guess, and others, and it's all powerful and breathless, well, as it should be, really. Now, I go all the way back with Diamond Head to the early days. Indeed, I still own one of the 1,000 copies, one of the 1,000 original copies of that famous debut album known as Lightning to the Nations on Happy Face Records. I still remember ordering it from the advert in Sounds. Who remembers Sounds? Essential weekly reading back then, wasn't it? I think it was £3.50. Man, albums were cheap back then. But I don't play it these days because there can't be too many of those original 1,000 left, can there? Anyway, back to Live and Electric. Interestingly, each performance that Diamond Head did on the tour, where each one was recorded, so they had the time and the luxury to go back over each one and pick out which ones, cherry pick the best dozen, which we've now got here. And it starts with one of those original classics, The Prince. It's all bustling and crackling with energy. As indeed, everything Diamond Head does here gives really a metal masterclass, and they've got the songs and the ability to do just that, haven't they? And I think it was once said around about 1980ish by some critic that something along the lines that first Diamond Head album packed more riffs into it in one song than Black Sabbath did in their entire back catalogue at the time, or words to that effect anyway, but you get the point, don't you? And to paraphrase something else of a related nature, if you want riffs, you've got them. And you've got them here. Brian Tatler up there with any guitarist you'd care to mention that flicks out riffs without even thinking twice. Monster riffage. And if you listen to Live and Electric, you'll know why if you don't already. Energetic frontman Rasmus Anderson roars away with vocals to match Tatler's guitar, and the rest of the band all gel together, making what we've got here. It's just a huge performance. The mixture of the old and the Wobham era classics, such as Heat of the Night, Sweet and Innocent, and Helpless, for example, all remain fresh. And, others selected from later albums, they all fit right in. Seamless stuff. And of course, no Diamond Head performance would be complete without the quite legendary Am I Evil? If one song was to sum up what the new wave of British heavy metal was, well, and still is, all about, then for me, it's Am I Evil? One of the greatest riffs ever. It's cutting, it's doomy, it's relentlessly heavy, and not all quite rather influential indeed, isn't it, Am I Evil? Over the years covered by many bands, perhaps most notably by Metallica. Now, I'm generally not the biggest fan of live albums. I tend to come and go with them. Although I think this one is indeed worthy. We've got a legendary band showing that they've not lost a step. Available in the usual formats, digital, physical, and whatnot. So I'll drop a link in the description to it on Amazon, so you can go and get your version of choice, though other outlets available, of course. And since touring with Saxon, Brian Tatler is now in Saxon, isn't he? and performed on Saxon's current studio album from last year, the rather magnificent Hellfire and Damnation. So don't miss that album either. And you do wonder if Brian can juggle things between Diamond Head and Saxon, and that we might have more studio stuff from Diamond Head to look forward to in the future, perhaps. So hope so, Brian. Please make it happen if you can. But in the meantime, don't miss Live and Electric, because it's storming stuff as you'd expect from the one and only Diamond Head. So that's it for now. Please do subscribe to the channel before you go, if you wouldn't mind, because that would be excellent. And until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and take care.